Hi guys, and this video I'm going to continue on going through how I'm getting on with my first game, which is in MonoGame and is a basic implementation of Pong. So in the last one, I'm just trying to find my little thingy. In the last one, I talked about wanting to do a couple of features, one of which was rotating the paddles and the other one was some power balls. Now it turned out the paddle rotation, I couldn't actually do it. It's too hard. The actual rotating of the sprite, that was trivial. It was literally just passing in a rotation value into the draw function. The problem was that I'd completely forgotten about collision detection. So with MonoGame, you've only got, out of the box, it only supports a couple of basic collision types. So one is detecting whether one rectangle is intersecting another rectangle. So the way it's done here is it's using a bounding box around the sprite. Now for a rectangular paddle, that works fine, and for a ball that also works fine. And the other kind of collision detection is circular, which would work well for the ball, obviously doesn't work well for the paddle. But the problem is, of course, if I rotate it, then I would get this kind of situation. So the bounding box, when it's normal, is fine, and so that works well for a simple collision detection. I haven't drawn it around the circle. But of course, if you rotate it, the bounding box then is completely off. You see this point here, the ball is nowhere near the paddle, and yet that would still register as a collision. So I did look into various ways of dealing with that. I mean, there are libraries for MonoGame that deal with this stuff. There's one called I think it's Physics. But honestly, this is my very first game. I don't want to start digging into libraries. I just want to keep it simple. So I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. So what I did instead was just a simple angle. So when the so if the paddle is like that and the ball hits it sort of perpendicular to the middle, it's going to bounce off kind of in a straight line. If you hit it sort of slightly, sort of more there, it's going to hit it like this. And if it's near the top of the paddle, it's going to go off at like a 45-degree angle. Let me just try and do something with my cat. She's hungry. I always seem to record my videos around feeding time. So that's what I've done there. Now, I'm not going to show you the game just yet because I want to go through the other stuff that I've done with it. The play state. So I've talked about state, and this class was becoming a bit of a beast. It was doing too much. It was becoming a bit of a god class. So what I've done is I've reorganized the code a little bit. So what I've done is I've split it out. So instead of having just a paddle class, I've now got a player class which contains a paddle, and that's a base class, and then I've got a derived class of an AI player, and that's got extra functionality such as tracking the ball. And that has allowed me to just make the play state class a little bit better. It's still kind of a lot, I think. But I've done something very similar with the ball. So I've now got a ball class which is abstract, and then from that, so this still contains quite a lot of implementation. But I've now got two derived classes, a main ball, so this is for the main ball which is in play, which is the scoring ball. But then I've got a power ball, and let me come on to that. So, power balls. This was the main thing that I wanted to add to make it more interesting. Now, the best way to describe this is just to show you the game in play now. So I've improved the title screen a little bit. It still needs some work. Right, so it starts off as before. I've only got the sound effects on at the moment. I've actually just muted the thingy, but you see that blue? Oh, I'm not gonna be able to catch it. So every, I think it's 5 seconds or so, you're going to get a ball, and it's just going to float in from the right hand side of the screen. If you grab it, you've then got a power up. This one, you can see the speed of my paddle there. That's a fast paddle. Once a point has been scored, it resets. So now I'm back to normal. And oh, now this is my favorite one, the red one, if I can catch it. Damn. That one is a fast ball, and it shoots it really, really quickly. So that's actually a bug. I thought I'd ironed out all the bugs. So once the it's no longer in play, it shouldn't be fast anymore. The green one expands the size of the paddle. There's also a bug with that. If you catch the green ball near the bottom of the screen, the paddle will just go off the bottom of the screen. So that's something I need to fix. I want to try and catch the red one again. Here we go, if I can. But I've got to get the white ball first. What I'm going to do is, if I just change it so that the first power ball served is the red one, and just restart the game. And that's another thing actually. So if I just pause it, this is something that I've been struggling with: difficulty testing. I don't know how to test games. My background, as I said, I'm used to programming web applications. Web applications basically, and it's very different to games. I just found that I've just had to basically just keep playing the game over and over again, and that kind of sucks because I'm no good at these sorts of games. It actually makes it really hard. So I think I'm going to have to sort of read up a little bit on game testing and see if I can do things within the code to make it a little bit easier on myself, because that was something that I was really struggling with. Oh, so now we've got fast and big. I want the red one. So I didn't get the red one first, so I must have another bug in there, because the red one should have been served first and it was not. So here we go. So as you can see, come on, give me that red ball. Right, so the next time I hit it, there we go. It serves it super fast, and then it should, reset. So at the moment, I still don't have a win condition, so it's still no, you saw that bug there, so that expanded the paddle, but because I was down below, see, once I've done it, once I move it, it will reset. So now I've got the fast one, haven't I? Yeah. So really, you could have some kind of visual clue. Damn it. It would be nice to have some kind of visual clue as to what you've actually got, which Powerball you've got, so it still needs some work. Muddled game logic. So one of the things that I talked about in my previous video was how I'm using this game state, right? And so the play state on the update and draw, I found that I've got a little bit of a mix here. So I'm calling update on the ball class. I'm calling on both of the ball classes. So I've now got two. One for that controls the power ball, and one for the main ball. But then I'm just calling different things all over the place. And I actually had but like the draw code, that just simply goes through each object and draws them, right? But it's my game logic. This is kind of muddled. And I had a conversation with ChatGPT about it actually, and it was talking about two different models which are used typically for game logic. One of them is like the entity component system, and that is something which I know a little bit about it, but I think that's something that would be definitely overkill for a game this simple. And then it also talked about having more of a scene based approach, and it said that my game state is similar to the scene based approach, but it said that based on what it knew about my code, that I was kind of had a bit of a hybrid approach. So I think it's still a bit muddled. Excuse me. Now, obviously, it's my first game. I don't expect to get this stuff right, and honestly, I don't want to keep working on this forever. And I don't think I can do a really good sort of game logic with something so simple until I understand better. So, to be quite honest, I'm not going to worry about it too much. At the moment, most of the stuff works. So, what I really want to do now, there's not a whole lot I want to do left, really. I want to kind of get it wrapped up. So, to polish the game, I think it needs... So, for example, when you have one of those power balls, have something flash up and say like fast ball or, big paddle or something like that. So you've just got some kind of visual clue. Also on the title screen, I've just put an extra line in here saying red, green and blue balls give you a power up. But it'd be nice to visually display those on the screen and show what they are. So, yeah, make that a little bit nicer. And of course, I still don't have a win condition or any kind of scoring system. So those are the things that I need to just kind of wrap it up. But I'll admit I'm getting a bit bored with it, which is a little bit of a worry. But then on the other hand, I've created a game that I have no interest in. And that's actually one of my concerns, because I've been thinking about what are the kind of games that I want to create as my first few games. And one of the things I'm going to do, let me just bring up this Harvard course that I talked about. Hang on. So this is a website that I've shown earlier on. This is a Harvard course, and I've watched the first couple of lectures here, the Pong and the Flappy Bird. And so my idea was I was going to go through and sort of like try and build most of these kinds of games. But now I'm realizing I don't even know if that's really the best idea, because like Flappy Bird is another game that I know I would just suck at. It's just anything that requires a manual kind of physical dexterity, quick reflexes. I didn't even have that when I was 15, let alone now. So I don't know if I am going to do all these games, but I probably will just do the Flappy Bird one next. But I'm going to try and do it a little bit different. I don't want to do the traditional kind of Flappy Bird game. Has it got a picture of it? No, I don't think it has. Oh yeah, it does have a little bit, but I don't. I mean, the thing that annoys me about Flappy Bird, I know I'm going off onto a tangent here. Why are there pipes coming out of the ground and hanging from the sky? I don't know. It makes no sense to me. And so if I did do a game like that, I would have to do some other kind of setting that kind of made more sense to me. Anyway, this is the end of this video, really. Nothing much more to say about this Pong game other than just needs that polish, and then hopefully the next video for this will be the last one and I can move on to the next game. So thanks very much for watching. Speak to you next time.